Hey, I'm Chris with Atlantic Drain. Today's video is about tunneling sidewalks, but there's more to it when you're doing an install. And I just finished up a downspout to drain and sump to drain on a new installation that we're doing here, as well as replacement of the drain tile to the back left corner of the home. A lot of work has been completed, but let's get back to the task at hand. And we're going to dig it out to our new tunneled sidewalk. Alright, let's get started. You can see that I've dug a trench and removed the pipe on each side of the sidewalk in preparation to remove this piece of pipe that's under the sidewalk. Do your best to keep your work area neat and clean. Put down plastic before you get started. Place the sod on one side, dirt on the other. Some of these pipes under the sidewalk are pretty tough, but if I can remove them and go in the same tunnel area, that's all the better for me. Getting a little easier as I pull it out. As you can see, I'm using that pry bar and I puncture a hole all the way through that pipe. I then use the sidewalk as a leverage or fulcrum point to move the pipe just a couple of inches. And repeat the process until I have that pipe out from underneath the sidewalk. But if you can get that piece out, it makes it that much easier to tunnel because you now have a 3-inch diameter hole already tunneled for you. I have the pipe that was underneath the sidewalk removed, and it was totally blocked, and here's the culprit. A root had grown into the pipe. Now, the reason why it did that is because the line is actually running uphill all the way to the far side of the sidewalk before it goes back down in slope there to the surface sub drain. So what we need to do in this area is we're going to redig underneath the sidewalk so it has proper fall out there to the sub drain, and we're going to see if we have any other issues on up the line. But first things first, let's go ahead and continue our sidewalk tunneling. Here I'm using a 3100 PSI pressure washer with what they call the white blaster stripper nozzle. I'm using it to loosen up the gravel and dirt underneath the sidewalk. Since I already have a 3-inch diameter hole all the way through the sidewalk, this is not going to take too long. This is in fact one of the easiest sidewalks I've tunneled all year, but the rest of this job was tough. I'm going to loosen the gravel on both sides of the sidewalk and then use a tunneling shovel to remove the gravel. Once again, I'm going to reiterate, I'm only using the pressure washer to loosen the gravel underneath the sidewalk. It is packed tightly underneath that sidewalk and must be loosened up before it can be removed with a tunneling shovel. Most sidewalks in suburban communities have good gravel underneath of the sidewalk. You may have a sidewalk where there is no gravel underneath of it, in which case it's all dirt, and pressure washer is the way to go for the entire process if you have only dirt underneath of the sidewalk. Here in Ohio, it's not only dirt, but it's clay, and it is really hard to move a tunneling shovel through the clay. Now that I've loosened up that gravel, I can put that tunneling shovel in there pretty much with ease, and it'll pull that gravel out, put it on some plastic on top of the sidewalk so I can put it back in underneath the sidewalk once I've installed the pipe. Hand tunneling a sidewalk is not for everyone. Sometimes it's just for entertainment purposes. Well, this one is definitely entertaining, but if you use a pressure washer, it is so helpful. Whether you've got packed gravel or it's straight clay, the pressure washer will make this a much simpler task. I will be installing 4-inch pipe, so I want that tunneling shovel to go in there. I'm going to actually kind of twist it a bit so that I have a 4-inch tunnel at least to put that pipe through. A quick spray out of any residual gravel inside of the tunnel, and I'm ready to install that pipe. If you recall, I have made that tunnel through the sidewalk very deep because I want a good fall to the sub-drain there at the street. So this is quite easy for me to install the pipe. It goes right through there. And as we're about to look through that pipe, you'll see there is no standing water in that pipe. It has nice downhill flow to the sub-drain. So you've probably seen me do this 100 times, but for this one, it was using the pressure washer somewhat, and then using the tunneling shovel to get out all that gravel. I didn't want it to get too muddy. But we'll return here tomorrow and do some install on the downspout drain. I'm Chris with Atlantic Drain, reminding you, it's easy once you know how.